Chicago. I'm all alone, not a soul in sight. I'm on a sidewalk. It's night out. The only light that is around me is the street lights flickering through the leaves above me. I'm running. With every single step, searing pain starts in my feet, goes through my legs, up into my back, and into my head. With every step. I want to stop. My body's screaming out, Spencer, stop, but I can't. I must push forward. I can't stop. Eventually, I come to my senses. I'm like, Spencer, you need to stop. If you push yourself even a couple more minutes, then you're gonna collapse. If your head doesn't split open on the ground, you're not gonna have energy to get up off the ground. You're stranded in the middle of Chicago at night, and your friends are not gonna know where you are or where you've been. And if people come to take your stuff, you're not even gonna have energy to get up, to run. You need to stop, Spencer. Just stop. You can't do this anymore. But I can't. I have to keep going. I have to keep pushing. Hey guys. Long time no see. It has been a little bit. It's been what, 6-7 months? How has it been? How has it been for you? I want to know. Comment down below. Send me a text. I don't care. I want to know how you guys actually are doing. It's been a while, enough to grow my hair out just a little bit. But yeah, the 6 months for me, or 6 to 8 months, have been the worst 6 months of my life. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. And because of that, it's because mental health. I've been having horrible mental health issues, and this is not an excuse video. This is a video to say, I've learned something. I've learned something from this mental health struggle that I need to tell you guys. Because it has absolutely wrecked me, and if I can just save one person from going through what I went through, it would have been so worth it. So please, if you are in any way, shape, or form into like self-help or just pushing yourself to either get a good body, to work out more, to become smarter, get another promotion, something that you need to push yourself to do, please don't fall into the trap that I went into. And granted, my mental health, there's been a bunch of other factors, but what I've learned, what I'm going to tell you guys, is one of the main factors. And yeah, so my mental health has manifested its way in the form of self-hatred. I don't really like myself, and it sucks. So I want to share a story with you. One time I was typing away at my computer, and I was getting really frustrated. I was doing my homework, but I wasn't doing it well. I was just getting really frustrated. I was ready to just like punch a hole through the wall. And I got to the end of it, slammed my laptop closed. I got the nearest clothes that I could find, running clothes, threw on my shoes. I left campus, and I just chose a direction, and I ran. And I just ran as far as I could go. I thought I just needed to blow off some steam. But little did I know that this run was fueled by not only self-hatred, but also by needing to prove myself. Now I have to warn you, I'm going to get pretty vulnerable with you guys, and I believe that I should be vulnerable with you, because if I don't, you won't learn the lesson. I'll be keeping this crucial lesson from you. So that's why I'm sharing the details that I'm sharing. But the story doesn't end there, because I keep running. I run for 10 minutes. 10 minutes turns into 30 minutes. 30 minutes turns into an hour. An hour turns into 2 hours. 2 hours turns into 3 whole hours of running. Almost no breaks. Now let me put this into perspective for you. I am not a runner, okay? Before that, I probably only ran like a month, 2 months before that. So I'm not a runner. I ran 14 miles. And that was out of pure needing to prove myself, and this negative energy of self-hatred. And like I said earlier in the video, it got to the point where I couldn't walk anymore. Searing pain was going up through my body, And the only way to get myself to keep running was to just fall forward and let my leg instinctively catch myself. And I just had to stumble forward like that to push myself to keep running because I couldn't stop. I needed to prove to myself that I had some sort of worth. Eventually, I came to my senses and I knew that, hey, I need to stop. I will collapse if I continue like this. So I called up my roommate. I'm like, hey, can you come pick me up? I'm so sorry. And God bless this man. Honestly, he dropped everything he was doing. He was with his girlfriend. They both came, picked me up, made sure I was healthy, made sure I was safe, got me food and water. He's one of the most solid people in my life. But it was rough. The coming weeks, I walked with a limp. It was hard to do normal tasks like get out of bed or even just get up from a chair was difficult to do because my whole body was just sore and in pain. And that was just one of the many breakdowns I've had. It sucked. And I don't want you guys to get to this point. So I know you're probably wondering, okay, Spencer, what is it? What is the issue that you've identified? And I'm going to give it to you. So what it all is a way I found to motivate myself, to get myself to do the difficult things. But it's an unhealthy way to do it. You see, back in middle school, that's when I started my kind of self-help journey. I discovered self-help. I'm like, oh, this is actually really interesting. Pushing yourself out of your comfort zone so then you can become a better person. Here's the thing, though. In middle school, I found a really good way to motivate myself to do it, but like I said, it was unhealthy. And what this way was I basically unconsciously told myself, okay, Spencer, so actually, let me back up. I forgot to tell you an analogy. So this analogy is going to be framed around, you're walking down a path. Life is a path, okay? You've all heard that before. And there comes to a split in the path. You can go right or you can go left. The right path represents doing the difficult thing in the moment that will later yield results and rewards, like working out. You don't really want to work out in the moment, especially when you're in beginning. You don't want to go for a run. You don't want to lift weights. But you know that if you push through just that momentary moment of suffering, then later on you will get rewards and great rewards. So that's what the right path represents. What the left path represents, all it is just not doing that. Not going down the right path. Life just continues how it was, and that's that. So what I found is that a good way to motivate myself was to say, okay, Spencer, you can go down the right path. And that's what we want you to do. Yes, go down the right path. But if you go down the right path, you suck. That's what I'm going to tell you. You suck. And that is enough motivation in the beginning to get me to be like, okay, I'll go down the right path because I want to avoid going down the left path because I don't want to be told I suck. Even though all the left path is just not doing said thing. So it started there. But here's the thing in life. As you push yourself more and more, you begin to encounter circumstances that you need more motivation to push yourself to do. For example, maybe there's a cute girl you want to ask out on a date. You need a ton of motivation to do that because you need to get over maybe being rejected, maybe being awkward, and it just takes a lot of motivation. So with this mindset, how do you do that? Well, what you do is you increase the intensity of the negativity of going down the left path. So instead of saying, oh, yeah, you suck, you start begin to say things like, well, if you go down the left path, you're lazy. You're a failure. You won't amount to anything. And that's enough motivation to get you to go down the right path. However, it's out of a fear. It's out of an avoidance of the left path. And here's the crucial part. After year, if you are doing this, then things in life happen and you just have to go down the left path. You just have to. You're really tired and you just need to, you're like, okay, I can't do this. I need to go down the left path. So the first time you go down the left path of just not doing said productive thing, you start walking down there and then your mind starts to freak out. And it's like, whoa. You've been able to go down the right path every single time up to this point. What changed? Like, what are you doing? You're lazy. You're an idiot. Why did you do that? And you're like, okay, I can just brush it off. It's fine. I don't have to believe those things. But those things start to reoccur, and they happen over and over and over and over again. And as life goes on, and as you start to push yourself more and more, that intensity, like I said, gets worse and worse and worse. And you get to a point in life where you go down the left path, and the things that you're saying to yourself is, Spencer, you're a complete failure. You'll never amount to anything. No one's going to love you. You've been able to go down the right path for so many years. Look at you now. You're so horrible. I absolutely detest you. And you start to believe those things, and you start to identify with those things. And it starts a cycle. Because the next time, once you start identifying with those things, the next time you get to a break in the path, you look at the right path, and your body screams out, we need a break. Spencer, stop pushing us so hard. We need a break. I can't go down the right path anymore. And then you look down the left path, and it says, you're an idiot. You're a failure if you go down this path. And you think to yourself, well, I already identify with that, so I guess I'll just go down the left path. And then it just starts to do a cycle over and over, and you start to believe these things about yourself, all because all the way years before, you said to yourself, yeah, if you go down the left path, you're sucky. You just failed this time, and you try to avoid that. But over the years and over the months, it grows and grows, and it starts to get worse and worse. And it gets to the point where, because you can't go down the right path every single time, you have to go down the left path. And you get to the point, I got to the point where there's been days I can't even look at myself in the mirror because of how detested I am of myself and how much I hate myself. I hate my own reflection. That's the point that this gets to, and I don't want anyone to get to that point. If this helps one person, it would have been worth it. These 6 months of hell on earth have been worth it if it just helps one person. So I want to give you guys ways to identify if you are in this mindset of basically taking the left path as negative and you just try to avoid it. First thing is you dehumanize yourself. And I mean it in this way. When you look at your loved ones, you're like, I love that person. This person's great. I feel good around them. I hope they stay in my life. And you care for them. Do you feel that same way about yourself? Because I didn't. I dehumanized myself, and I did that because if I can dehumanize myself, I can push myself further and further, because I'm not pushing a human that has feelings and sensitivities, but I'm just something to be pushed so I can be successful. So if you've noticed that in your life, this might be a mindset that you have that you should really work on. Granted, there are other factors, but I'll give you another sign that maybe this is something that you struggle with. The other sign is you have a hard time relaxing. And I mean this in the sense of, let's say you're done with school or you're done with work and you have no more obligations. Maybe it's just like an hour you get out of a week where you don't have to do anything. You're done with the big project, you're great, you can finally relax. But it's hard to do that because in the back of your mind, you're like, I should be doing something productive with this time. I should be reading a book. I should be working out. I should be working on a new business or something like that. And it's a hard time taking that time to relax. And you end up either booking up your schedule or just not being able to fully relax. That is another way that this can manifest itself. But one of the most practical ways that you can tell if this is the mindset you have is the next time you come to the crossroads, identify that crossroads. Identify, okay, I'm at this place where I could go right and do the productive thing, do the good thing that's difficult in the moment, but will yield results later. Or I could go down the left path and just not do that thing. And notice how you feel on the inside, okay? There may be some negativity towards the left side, but that could be multiple things. So what you do is just think about it. What are those negative feelings towards just not doing it? And eventually, it's a process, but eventually you may be able to identify, yeah, it might be because I'm telling myself that I suck. So identify that, okay? And if you're sitting there and you're thinking, okay, Spencer, I think this might be me as well. What do I need to do? I've got some good news for you. I can't give you like a, bam, you're done. Just adopt this mindset and you're good. But I can start you in on that process. Granted, I am not a therapist. I am not skilled in this area. I am just a guy who's went through this myself, and I want to help you guys. So I'll give you the things that I have experienced. It might work for you, it might not. So just hear me out. So here are the things that has helped me. First off, you need to identify, okay, what's the end goal? So what is it? What you're doing is, let's say this is your productivity and this is your value. You're putting your value in your productivity. Because when you're productive, you're like, oh, I feel great about myself. I am a valuable human being. But when you start to not become productive, then there starts to be some issues. And you start to see, wait, I'm not being productive. Ugh, that kind of sucks. I feel bad, and I don't really like myself. That's what it is. We're putting our value in our productivity. So what we have to do is uproot our value, uproot it, and put it into something else. Something else. Put our value in something else. What is that thing? We'll get to that in a second. But for now, just know the idea is uprooting our value from what we do, our productivity, and putting it in something else. We'll pick that up in a second. The second, I'll give you two more things. The one thing is, you need to not give up on yourself. There will be times where you do give up on yourself and you're like, you know what? I can't try anymore. I'm just gonna succumb to the idea that I hate myself and I'm a horrible human being. And that's just kind of how you see yourself, and you're done fighting it. You can get to that point, but please don't stay in that point. Even if it takes a week, even if it takes a couple weeks, don't give up on yourself. This is something that will take, paradoxically, it will take work. It will take some amount of pushing yourself to make sure you're doing the right things. Go get a counselor. Please, please share this with someone you're close to. That will be super, super helpful. If you're going at this in the dark, please share it with someone. If you want to share it with me, I know what you're going through. I'll happily do that. So please, just find someone to talk to about this. And so yeah, don't give up on yourself. This is something that will take some work, but just keep on doing the process. Sometimes you may need to take a break. Sometimes you'll need to push forward. So just don't give up on yourself. This journey, this process is going to look different for everyone, but don't give up on that. Now, lastly, here's the one thing I know all of you are like, okay, what's the one thing that's going to help me? Here's the one thing that whenever I have seen progress in my life, it has been this one thing. It's internalizing this idea. You have to hear the whole thing, so just bear with me. At times, we're not perfect. We are indeed decrepit human beings. We mess up, we fail, and in some way, shape, or form, we are just a pile of trash. We're just a hunk of rubble. And it sucks, but don't stop there. Don't stop there. Recognize that, yeah, I'm not perfect, and there might be some parts of me that need to be worked on, but don't stop there. Because even though it's hard to love yourself in those moments, there is someone else who loves you. That person is Jesus. Now, if you're not a Christian and you're watching this, don't check out on me. Just hear me through on this. And if you're a Christian, don't check out on me either, because you're like, oh, I've heard this before. Please listen, hear me out. As decrepit as a human being that you are, as I am, I see myself as a pile of trash, and it's so hard to love myself. There is someone that is looking down on you and saying, that is my precious creation. I have made that, and no matter what they do can change how I love them. I love them so much that I'm going to send my son. I don't have to do it, but I'm going to send my son down onto this earth to live a perfect life, to live a life that they were never able to live. to live that life and to die innocently in the most gruesome way possible for them, out of my love for them. But it doesn't stop there. He rose from the dead 3 days later, conquering death and tearing the veil so that we can be in relationship with him. He bridged that gap. You know why? Because he loved us. This is it. He loves us. This is what you need to put your value in, because your value is in your productivity. It's in what do I do? What do I not do? It's in that. But you need to uproot it and put it in his steadfast love. What is steadfast? Steadfast means never changing. It means he loves you regardless of what you do. And that's what you need to focus on. That is it. So please hear me out. Meditate on the gospel. Think about it. Mull it over in your head. And that is going to help you. So please understand this gospel. Meditate on it. It is such a delightful thing. Thanks for watching.